For many of us, prayer is just something we do out of habit. Maybe it's a safe place we go to when things get hard. But what if prayer has a power much bigger than you think? What if your future can change with just one prayer? Stay with me until the end because I'll share a secret that will change how you think about prayer forever. This time, open your heart completely. For Ibn Arabi, prayer is not just asking for something. It is a trip into yourself and at the same time, finding ways through the ground. It is never still. It is always alive toward the center of forever. He taught that prayer is not only you reaching out to God, but also God showing himself through you. When you think you are calling him, it is actually he who is calling you back to him. This way of thinking turns the whole idea of fate upside down. Imagine a mother lifting her hands when her child is sick. Tears roll down her face and she does not pray with words, but with the cry of her heart. At that moment, prayer is no longer just talking. It becomes a shaking, a trembling of life itself. And right there within the layers of fate, a new path starts to open. In Sufi thinking, fate is not a frozen story. It is a frame, and prayer flows within that frame like water, changing its direction, cutting new paths, moving around rocks. And here is something most of us miss. A prayer does not need to show a miracle for it to be answered. Sometimes it changes us instead. And when we change, the world around us changes. It is not the outside, but the inside that changes first. And that inner change spreads outward like ripples in water, quietly shaping fate. Imagine this. A man loses his job. He looks down, feeling hopeless, but suddenly a voice rises from within. "My Lord, open my path." Those words are not just a sentence. They are a moment of letting go. And right there, invisible threads begin to move. Maybe nothing changes that very day. But weeks later, an unexpected chance appears. Looking back, he realizes that prayer was preparing me for something. As Ibn Arabi said, when a person prays, they are already being pulled into a future where the prayer is answered. So it is not that prayer simply changes fate. It is that fate itself gives birth to prayer. Yet this does not mean fate is fixed. On the contrary, within it lie endless chances, and prayer is the one aware act that can touch them. This is not only a spiritual idea. In terms of the mind too, prayer clears the thoughts, makes intention stronger, sharpens focus. And when a person begins to walk toward what they want, the universe walks with them. Have you ever wondered if fate is not just what happens to you, but also the space shaped by your prayers? This is only the beginning. As we move forward, you'll see more clearly how prayer and fate connect, and in the end, I will share a secret so powerful that you will never pray the same way again. Many people say, "I prayed, but it didn't work." But who decides what worked means? Perhaps you simply did not see the result. Perhaps the prayer protected you from dangers you never noticed. Perhaps what you asked for is waiting for its right time. Sometimes a prayer is not rejected but delayed, held back until the right moment or until you are ready. And sometimes the prayer is answered not by changing the world, but by changing you. In Sufi thinking, being accepted does not always mean your request comes true. Sometimes being accepted means the wish itself is gently taken out of your heart. And that is kindness, because not every wish will help you grow. Sometimes what you must let go of is also part of your fate. Ibn Arabi said, "What you think is acceptance is sometimes rejection." What you think is rejection is sometimes acceptance, for your Lord's plan is not tied to what you want. It is tied to your truth. Do you see what that means? You may beg for something, but if it would take you away from your true self, it will not be given. because prayer is meant to bring you closer to God, not to pull you farther away. Here, intention becomes the key. The heart of prayer is not words, but direction of the heart. When you truly let go within, the prayer takes on another feeling. At that moment, it leaves a mark on the fabric of fate. For you are no longer just the one who prays. You become the prayer itself. Think of a man who rises every day at dawn. Quietly, unseen, he lifts his hands to the sky. For years, he has asked for the same thing. Perhaps it has not happened. Yet if you looked at his face, you would say his prayer has been accepted, for it has given him peace. His prayer has changed him. The Sufis say prayer is like a hand knocking on the door of fate. The door does not open every time, but over time, that hand itself becomes the door. You knock so much that one day, you and the door are no longer separate. You are no longer just someone asking, you are the very longing itself. There is another truth we often miss. Some prayers feel like they end in disappointment. It seems as if the voice rising from the deepest part of your heart has not reached the sky. But know this, God never stays silent. Every prayer is answered, sometimes with yes, sometimes with not yet, sometimes with something better. Ibn Arabi explained it like this: a prayer touches life at a point in time, but that point may not be the moment you call now. When you expect an instant reply, it means you believe time is only straight and goes one way. But in truth, time is layered. Every prayer echoes in its own chosen moment. Think of a child calling out, "Father." The father may not answer instantly, but the sound echoes, and he turns to find where it came from. Your prayer is like that cry. It echoes across the walls of life. And when the moment is right, the answer comes. That is why prayer is never a rushed thing. It is an art shaped with patience, letting go, and trust. You cast a seed into the unseen, and like any seed, it needs time before it grows. This process is hidden from the eyes, yet it is one of the most real processes of all. And in this waiting, the biggest trap is doubt. Is my prayer truly heard? Does it even matter? These questions will come. Let them come, but answer them with the prayer itself. To every doubt, whisper an amen. With that, I mean, you are not only saying yes to God, you are saying yes to your own life, to your own fate. Never forget, sometimes a single prayer can change the path of a lifetime, but even more than that, it changes the heart carrying that lifetime. Pause for a moment now and think. How many times have you prayed, thought it was unanswered, and later felt a quiet whisper inside saying, "I was never wasted"? And it is here that Ibn Arabi's secret shines through. Prayer is not just asking, it is a conscious turning. He said, you think you are the one praying, but the prayer does not come from you. It is the prayer that makes you speak. In truth, you are not the source of the prayer. The prayer chooses you. You are only the vessel, the echo point, the channel through which it flows. And when you see it this way, every person who prays becomes a messenger of the universe's language. But to speak this language, you must understand its spirit, and that spirit is surrender. It means you do not control the outcome. You only turn your face toward it. Like a ship at sea, you set the course, but you cannot command the wind. You open the sail, and the rest belongs to the most merciful. That is why prayer is never just wish-making. Prayer is awareness. It is the moment you accept your place in the bigness of creation. And in that acceptance, you stop being only the one who asks. You become the one who listens. Think of a woman who for years longed for a child with her husband. Doctors gave no hope. Still, every night she cried, whispering, "My Lord, grant me this gift." One day she realized the true gift of that prayer was not a child, but the closeness she felt to God in those nights. And she said, "Perhaps I was not made a mother, but in his presence I became a child." At that moment, the prayer had already been answered, for it had changed her. And here lies a finer secret still. Prayer is not always born from soft feelings. Ibn Arabi taught that some of the most honest prayers rise from anger, helplessness, even protest. For in those moments, the heart is stripped bare. No filters, no masks, only truth. And your Lord accepts you in that rawness. So never ask yourself, how should I look when I pray? Come exactly as you feel. If you are angry, speak in that anger. If you are tired, let your silence pour out. Sometimes silence is the loudest prayer. Sometimes a single tear carries more meaning than 100 words. Remember, prayer is not only speaking, it is also listening. It is feeling the shaking rising from the depth of your soul. And in that shaking, there is not absence, but invitation. Ibn Arabi said it simply. Prayer does not rise with the words you know, but with the state you bring to God. That means the value of a prayer is in your state of being. And the more honest that state, the more real the prayer. Every prayer is a journey. Yet often it is not the road that changes after you pray. It is you. You begin to walk differently, and as you walk, you realize the answer was never outside. The answer was the prayer itself. Inside every person lived two voices. One keeps whispering, ask for more, want more, demand more. The other is quiet yet deep. It whispers, what you are as you are is enough. Prayer is the moment you touch that second voice. For Ibn Arabi, prayer is not just a request. It is the soul remembering itself. When you pray, you are not truly asking for something from outside. You are returning to yourself. You are hearing the echo of God rising within you. At this point, prayer stops being a wish list. It becomes awareness of life itself. Let me give you an example. A man lost his business, drowned in debt, and peace left his home. Every night he prayed until morning. My Lord, save me. Years pass, and still nothing seemed to change. Until one night he realized something. All that time he had not been asking for help. He had only been complaining. That night his prayer shifted. He said, me, my Lord, I do not know why I face these problems, but I am okay with it. Only protect my heart. And in that moment, the prayer was truly answered because he stopped fighting his fate and let go. And letting go is the most powerful form of prayer. This is why Ibn Arabi said the true prayer is not the one made for acceptance, but the one made for union. Do not pray only to receive something. Pray to draw near. Prayer is a door, then the real gift is not the knocking, but what waits behind it. Peace. Here lies a fine line. When you pray, ask yourself, what am I really turning toward? Wealth, joy, relief, or only Him? In Sufism, this is where oneness comes alive. The merging of every prayer, every longing into one single direction, to Him. Think of a young man who has failed again and again. One night in desperation, he falls into frustration and cries, My Lord, please give me strength. The next morning, his body is as weak as before, but then he realizes what needed strength was not his muscles, but his heart. And that day, he begins to discover an inner power. Because prayer does not always change the outer world. It transforms the inner one. It changes your eyes, your vision, your stance. And as you change, the world begins to reshape with you. Ibn Arabi captured this truth in one line. When you pray, it is not the outer world that shifts. It is the inner reality that awakens. This is why sometimes when you pray, it looks as if nothing happens. Yet in truth, that is often when the most is happening. Even in silence, there is a hidden grace carrying the answer, an unseen shift that quietly grows you from within. We must remember, prayer does not race against time. Prayer bends time itself. And if you are patient at that bend, life can suddenly change. Sometimes you pray, and the answer seems delayed, or rather it seems delayed to your sense of time. Ibn Arabi said, your time is not God's time. You wait, but he knows. That one sentence alone can break all our modern rushing. Today, we want everything at once. We pray and we expect immediate results. When nothing appears, we doubt our faith or even ourselves. But what if the answer has already arrived in another form at another point? Think of a woman who prayed for years. My Lord, grant me a good husband. Yet no one came. In frustration, she finally cried, enough. I refuse this fate. At that moment, something broke within her. But years later, she realized her prayers had never been wasted. It was not only a husband she was waiting for. It was her own growing up, and when that growing up came, the right person also appeared. By then, she was not only ready to receive, but also to share. So sometimes, prayer does not give you what you asked for, because it is preparing something greater. Ibn Arabi explained that fate does not move in a straight line like we imagine. When you pray, even the past can take on new meaning. Your prayer, without you realizing, reaches across all moments of time. This is a mystery the modern mind struggles with, but the heart understands instantly. Prayer is not some vague energy. It is direction. It is choosing a center and turning toward it. To pray is not only to ask, it is to surrender yourself. And here lies the heart of it. When what you asked for does not arrive, but instead a deeper awareness grows within you, then the prayer has already been accepted. At the start of this video, I promised to share a secret about prayer that is little known yet life-changing. Now the time has come. Ibn Arabi taught that the true power of prayer is not in changing outcomes, but in changing you. When you pray, it is not the outer world that shifts first, but the world inside you. Your feeling, your patience, your understanding, your way of seeing, all of these begin to transform, and as you change, the world reflects that change back to you. You may think I have changed fate, but in truth, through prayer, you have become aligned with your fate. Prayer does not create a miracle out of nothing. It awakens the miracle already within you. For when you pray, you are not only asking, you are also accepting. You are saying, I am incomplete and I long to be made whole. That is why Ibn Arabi said, the one who prays is himself the answer to the prayer. The state you are in while praying, that is already the reply. Let me put it plainly. If you still have the strength to pray, then the answer has already set out toward you. So now I will ask you, what was the deepest prayer you have ever made? And when you prayed it, were you truly ready for it? Or was it only the cry of a wounded heart looking for escape? Were you seeking truth or only a way to escape? Share it with us in the comments, because your experience might open the door of awareness for someone else. And if what I've shared has stirred something within you, then one of the videos beside this one can carry the journey further. There you'll find other secrets hidden in the depths of Sufism. Perhaps your next step is waiting right there. Don't forget to click. Remember this. Prayers may look silent, but their echo stretches across your fate for centuries. Pause and let that echo reach you. If you learned something from this video, make sure to subscribe our channel and like this video. If you want to learn more, watch our other videos now on your screen. Thanks for watching.